Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Jay Knows Nothing. And I know it's been a minute. For me to talk about my team, the Bengals, or anything football related. I mean, my last few videos have been centered around wrestling. So here we go. Bengals fans, hey, listen, it's the next day. I hope everyone's over the the dramatic loss yesterday to the Houston Texans. I'm going to say this. A lot of Bengals fans are mad at Tyler Boyd. I understand it. He had a key drop. Matter of fact, he actually had two key drops in that fourth quarter. He had a drop a few minutes earlier that could have gotten a first down, but we also got to remember, Tyler Boyd, he's the one that got us down there with that catch and run all the way down to the 7-8 yard line to be first and goal, to put us in position to potentially for a game-winning touchdown. But there's a few things that we should be upset more with. We should be upset with more what happened with the Texans game than just Tyler Boyd. Now, I mean, Tyler Boyd, obviously he took that to heart because he knew he's got one of the better hands on the team, and he's usually sure-handed. Remember during that Super Bowl run all season, he only dropped like one pass, and then he dropped one in the Super Bowl, which would have been a third down, which would have been a potential third down conversion. So it might seem like could be something maybe in his head a little bit, but he's usually sure-handed. It's very rare that he drops passes. He dropped two, like I said, he dropped two in the fourth quarter, and especially in as we know. But like I said, he's not the only one to blame in this. For one, I would look at that Bengals defense, especially the front four. We did not get enough pressure on C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans offense was just moving up and down the field at will. Their turnovers, the two fumbles by C.J. Stroud were in our territory, especially the first one, where it seemed to be a miscommunication between him and the center, and DJ Reader came up with the fumble recovery. The Texans had over 500 yards of total offense, so they were controlling the game. When the Bengals couldn't score between from that first drive in the first quarter until they didn't score until like late in the third off that field goal by McPherson, that 50-yard field goal. Bengals offense couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't match the energy that the Texans offense was giving. Like I said, they were just moving the ball down the field at will, and it just seemed like the defense just wasn't getting enough pressure. And anytime the blitzes came, they weren't getting there. C.J. Stroud was just he was just throwing dimes everywhere. 20+ yard pass plays. They had a ton of those yesterday. They was just ripping apart the Bengals defense at will. So not only C.J. Stroud was having a big day, Devin Singletary, he had his career day against us. I mean, he had 30 carries for over 150 yards rushing. Now the Bengals defense has given up some, yards on the ground. Have given up a lot of yards on the ground this season. But Singletary, I mean, he basically had his career day. That was the most yards he's ever gained in the game. And not only that, Noah Brown, the wide receiver, he's been in the league about 7 years. Is that right? I don't remember, but he was previously with the Dallas Cowboys, and he had a career year. A career day. Both of these guys had career days, and not to say that they're bums or anything. Singletary, he's definitely a good running back. I felt like he was probably underutilized in Buffalo, because Buffalo they seem to always rely on Josh Allen to do everything, and not allow their running backs to get some work in. But yeah, those two guys, they just, Noah Brown, I mean, he was looking like Jerry Rice out there. Singletary was looking unstoppable, like out there, like he was Thurman Thomas or something like that. So I would say, the defense definitely played a part. Yes, Cam Taylor-Britt, he came up with that key interception to help bring us back, and then the defense really made some stops at the end to put the offense in position. Well, except for the last possession. One of the things that they say is, like, when you do a prevent defense at the end of the game, is basically preventing you from winning the game. It didn't look like the Bengals were in the prevent defense, but they were definitely in the zone defense. That 28, 25 plus yard pass to Dalton Schultz, the tight end. He found a hole in the zone, and then, oh man, when Noah Brown, that last completion of Noah Brown, when Pratt and I think it was Nick Scott, they couldn't bring him down, and he just broke away and got a few more yards after that to put them in better position for a game-winning field goal. That was a heartbreaker. The fact that our defense couldn't get him down at least at the 35 to make the field goal a little bit longer, especially when you have a kicker that was just signed as a free agent on Tuesday. So put him in a pressure situation to where he could have a 50-plus yard kick instead of a manageable 38-yard field goal. That's almost like a regular field goal attempt. So, the defense, defense was definitely an issue for the Bengals yesterday. It's very rare that you will allow that many, yards on the field and you come away with a win. I mean, they almost did, but the D-line just did not get enough pressure on Stroud. He was just, he was moving around the pocket, and anytime he did get pressure, he was able to evade and move around the pocket and still throw deep. Houston had a lot of explosive plays, and the Bengals secondary, yes, it is young. Point number 2, give credit to the Houston offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, he basically, he kept Hendricks in at bay, and anyone else that came on rush over that side, whether if it's Osai, I think Miles Murphy may have had a snap over there, but Osai and Miles Murphy, they didn't get to the quarterback either. That offensive line was, they protected. They were great in protection. And that's all you could ask for, for a quarterback, to have an offensive line to give you time. And he had time in that pocket. He was just chilling, eating Skyline chili and whatnot. He was just chilling back there. So, and then they were opening up running lanes for Singletary. So, when your offensive line is able to keep your quarterback clean, you're going to win games. You're going to win games like this. If it wasn't for the turnovers, honestly, this game could have been a lot worse, blowout, because from that time that the Bengals didn't score on like five straight possessions, Houston was moving the ball. They could have very well ended every possession with a touchdown. Luckily the defense was able to hold them, and also come up with turnovers. But Houston really had. This was a game Houston had won. They did win, but they could have had this game more in the bag. It could have been a whole lot worse. But you got to give kudos to the Bengals for being able to come back, for being able to come back, make it a game, which brings me to another point. When they got down, when Boyd made that catch and run play, right at the 2-minute warning. When they came back from the 2-minute warning, that first play was a pass, in which eventually, I believe it was Rankin, went in there, wreaked havoc, and sacked him. By the way, Rankin, oh my goodness, he gave Alex Kappa a game. Alex Kappa was getting worn out. There was a couple of plays where Kappa was on his back, trying to keep the defensive tackle Rankin from wreaking havoc, but he was giving Kappa a run for his money each and every time. But I feel like they should have ran the ball, and forced the Texans to take a timeout. They did take a timeout because of the sack, but at that point, Mixon had about 11 carries for 40 plus yards, 4 yards a carry. I mean, I think a run would have gotten them closer to the goal line, or at least a little bit closer. And potentially he could have ran the ball in. You never know. He already had a rushing touchdown before in the fourth quarter, so why not give it to him again? First and goal play and the second and goal play were just highly questionable. I mean, that second and goal, I don't know if Burrow, audibled or something. I mean, he was making changes, and he decided to do a quarterback draw from it was like second and 15. It was like at the 15-yard line. Like, why would you do that? Like, really? I felt like if you was going to do that, you probably should have did that on first down. But at the same time, Burrow, why are you doing a quarterback draw? You got a running back that can take the punishment. And you got a running back. He'll take the punishment for you. You don't have to do that. Just give the ball to Mixon. Just give it to him, And I tell you what, there was one play where Mixon had the first down and he broke like 3 tackles. I was like, okay, that's vintage Mixon right there. That's the Mixon we definitely need. Be able to break tackles, make things happen. And certainly we could have used that down there at the goal line, but they decided to pass. Well, pass, draw, then pass. Which the third down pass, it makes all sense in the world. And that's the third down play that boy dropped the ball. I know fans are mad at him, but it's not on boy. Our lines, we just got to get better. We got to get better up front. If you don't win the war up front, you're going to lose the game, and that's what happened today. That's what happened yesterday. If there's one thing in the draft that we're going to need is a pass rushing defensive tackle. We definitely need some push up that middle. We're not getting consistent push. DJ Reader, he can definitely push the guard to the quarterback. It just takes a little bit long because as big as he is, he's really more of a run stopper. He's more of a run stopper than he is a pass rushing defensive tackle. And then once the quarterback moves out of the pocket, he can't chase him down. Being over 330 pounds, he can't really chase him down like that. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Next game against the Baltimore Ravens. I'll probably give my thoughts on that. So I appreciate you all for tuning in to Jay Knows Nothing. So here the Bengals are, right at the bottom of the division. Still at the bottom of the division. Baltimore lost. They came off a loss, so both teams are looking to avenge their losses, and it's definitely going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one in Baltimore. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.